Welcome back. This is the Alchemist Nation podcast. My name is Walter Morello. This is a podcast dedicated to real estate investors. We travel across the country and we talk to millionaires, multimillionaires, and some very, very lucky guests get to come on here and talk about becoming millionaires. Syed Khan is one of those. He's one of my students. He's actually one of the fastest growing students that I have, who came into the program early in the year. And Syed, you just exploded. And you've been doing a very unique niche that I thought would be really powerful to teach people. Syed, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for the opportunity, Walter.
You're very
welcome. Honored
welcome.
to be here.
Like I said, you've been exploding and you've got a very unique niche. How did you get into before we dive into it, how did you get into real estate in the first place? I know that you work a really good paying job. What made you say, I'm going to jump out of this and get into real estate? Well, I know you still work your job because I made sure you stayed working, keeping your job.
I'm still working my job. So it all started back in 2011. So my real estate career actually started in 2016. So I want to take a step back, probably about 5 years before that. When I started my full-time job, I graduated back in 2011. And after that, I actually worked for a corporate company, which I'm actually still employed with. And great company to work for. I started as an intern over there. And then they hired me as a full-time internal auditor because they didn't have an internal audit department. So essentially it was me and a couple of the people actually started in that department. And that first year when I actually got hired, me and two other people, we saved almost 10 to $15 million for this company because, they didn't bill their customers at that point. So towards the end of the year, I had my performance review because, we did a phenomenal job. And then every year there's a performance review with your manager. And I go into this performance review thinking, wow, I saved $15 million for this company. I deserve some sort of raise. And guess what? Out of that $15 million, they raised from 37,000 to 40,000. I got a 30,000 raise on a $15 million save that we actually did. So after that, I was like, man, this is not right. And I have to do something on my own. I really have to hustle and figure something out on my own. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to do what I want to do in my life, is to actually take care of my family, my friends, my community. So that year or the next year after that, I actually went to India with my family for vacation. We went to this little shop where they make handmade shoes. And my sister was with me. We're shopping there, and she got so excited over there because she's like, wow, these shoes are beautiful. We don't have this in America. So I started thinking, wow, okay, well, I think there's an opportunity there. Let me buy some shoes and bring it to the States and see what we can come up with. So I bought like 30 pairs, and I filled it up in my suitcase, brought it back to Boston. And then I had a lot of friends. Well, I still have a lot of friends in college. So I started setting up tables there, little booth, and just started talking to college girls, asking for their feedback on how much they would pay for it. What do you think about this shoes? What do you think about the quality? Started getting all their information. And, my next shipment was almost 300 shoes, I think. And then I started going to different events, started selling on weekends. I had my full-time job. I still have my full-time job, but I was selling on weekends. It was getting very, very hectic, because I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to scale this business because I'm only selling on weekends, and I am not really a fashion kind of dude. So I don't know if I can go online and do any sort of marketing. So then I took a step back. I was like, okay, what is the best way to actually scale a business? Then I started getting into selling on Amazon. I started going to Walmart, Christmas tree shops, dollar stores, doing the retail arbitrage. Started that in 2014 or 2015. And then I actually started selling stuff, doing private labeling. For 1 year, I actually started doing private labeling because I figured, okay, I can't go to Walmart every day. I can't go to Christmas tree shops every day. So then we started bringing stuff from India again, importing all that, and then selling it on Amazon. And I actually did pretty well for a couple months till Amazon actually lost all my inventory that was worth almost $10,000. So I worked so hard to get from page 5, page 6 to page 1, and all of a sudden, my $10,000 worth of inventory was just gone, right? And they gave me a refund But then I still had to work hard because once you lose your spot on first page, if you don't have inventory, you still have to work your way back from page 5, page 6 to page 1. So I'm like, man, I don't know what to do anymore. You know, I've been doing this for 3-4 years. I can't figure it out. And it was one of the snowstorms when I was in the basement watching TV and I was just on my laptop. I stumbled upon Bigger Pockets, Brandon Turner, you know, free webinar, right? And he goes, you can start flipping with other people's money. I didn't know what that meant, because all these businesses that I was doing was all on my own money. Like all the salary that I was getting, I was just investing in these businesses.
Yep.
So then I'm like, oh, wow, I thought I needed hundreds and thousands of dollars to get started in real estate. And that's not true. Yes, you need money, but it doesn't have to be your own money. It can be other people's money, right?
OPM, you got it.
Exactly. So I built a lot of credibility from, you know, my friends and family. They know who I am. And, you know, I work hard and I'm really passionate about what I do. So my partner, Mohammed, you know, we actually did our first deal together. You know, we were just talking about this last week. You know, he had $13,000 in his bank account. I had $4,000 in my bank account because I lost all my money in Amazon. And then we raised another 20 grand from a really good friend of mine who I went to college with, and started calling different banks to fund a deal that I actually found on Bigger Pockets. My first deal was on Bigger Pockets. That was also an off-market deal, which is amazing. Every single lender said no. Bank said no. Hard money lender said no. And they kept saying, you have no experience. And I said, if you don't give me a chance, how am I going to have experience at all?
Yep.
So I actually went to a friend of mine who's a builder here. He actually called the bank that he's been working with for like 10 years now. And
where are you at? You're in Boston or you're in Worcester?
I'm in Worcester. I'm in
Worcester.
Worcester. Yep.
Okay.
So this all started in Worcester, and I'm still in Worcester. I love this market here. And he called the bank and he said, hey, if anything happens, I'll step in. I'll take care of the rest of the project. So again, networking, you know, knowing the right people, knowing the good people who are willing to actually help you out is very, very important. So that's where it started. We worked a full-time job. Mohammed and I actually worked for the same company, and then come back home, change, go to the project, do the whole thing, you know. And I didn't know what we were supposed to do. You know, general contractors, subcontractors. I had no idea. I just wanted to do a project. I was like, I want to buy a project, and I thought this is the only way to do it. Meaning, you have to do the work yourself, because the people that I was networking with, that's what they've been doing, and that's what they kind of taught me and said, hey, you have to, you know, roll up your sleeves and then go and do all this work. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna do that. Took us 6 months, you know, and that's crazy because that was my first year of marriage. Towards the end of my first year of marriage, and
your wife is so sweet,
bro.
Yeah.
I was out every single day. I would come home and my wife would be asleep. So there were times or days when we didn't see each other.
Wow.
And you know, I do want to talk about that at some point, but how important it is to actually have the right partner and find the right spouse who actually is willing to struggle with you, because it's not just you who's struggling, it's your family, your spouse, you know, whoever you are with, they're the ones who are struggling too. You know, they're compromising their life just because, you know, they know that you're working on something bigger. Yeah. So that's where we started our first project. And then after that, you know, we found our second and third and fourth, and, you know, we just continued doing it. Mohammed actually had to take a step back just because he had 2 kids back to back. So he's like, I cannot handle this right now, man. So he's going to get back into it soon though. Yep.
Absolutely. And I think that, so you've changed. A lot has changed since the beginning. What was the big change for you? And I'm hoping that my name comes up. What was the big change for you that stopped you from taking those trips to Home Depot, swinging the hammer yourself? Yeah. And how has that had an effect on your business?
So I'll tell you one thing, Walter. I have always wanted to run a business, because I know a lot of people who are what I call them glorified contractors that I know. They're making a lot of money. And when I say a lot of money, you know, probably close to $600,000, $800,000 every year, because they're doing multiple, you know, maybe 5 to 10 projects a year. and they do all the work themselves. So I thought that was pretty cool, but it's not a business, because when you pull yourself out of that, then that's it. It stops. There's
Yep.
nothing that is happening. So you're actively working in the business. I just did not know how to do that. So what really helped me, and I always thank God for introducing me to Darina and then you, is because you guys are the ones who actually taught me how to do this. Like, because my mentality was I can do everything myself better than anyone else. It's not right. I don't think that's true, because then after meeting with you guys, I learned that you have to talk to more people.
Yeah.
You have to talk to more people. Actually, even before that, you have to train your brain saying that no, there are right people, there are good people. And you kept pounding that in my head throughout the whole mentorship program, say no, there are the right property managers. Look at my property manager. I don't even have to lift a finger and they're doing all the work. And I was thinking, no, I'm the best landlord. I am the best general contractor. It doesn't work like that. No, right? So I had to train myself, unlearn everything, just like what you told me in the beginning. You have
Yeah.
to unlearn what you've learned past 4 years and then learn new things. It wasn't easy. And I'm still working on it. It's not like, I have, completely just, changed everything, but I am really, really working on it. And guess what? I have 4 projects going on right now, and they're all being managed by the contractors. I'm
What I
not doing
what I love is
everything.
you're right here on a podcast with me, and those are getting managed by contractors. That's how you know you've
Absolutely.
done it.
That is correct. Yep.
So, Syed, one of the things that I think is really unique about you is you actually specialize in a really difficult type of property, burnt down houses. So you actually have figured out how to go in and do a deal on something that I've always avoided. I've sold them as agents on the agency side, but I've never done a burnt house because it seems just so involved. How did you get into those, and what would you say is the easiest, the reason you still actually do them?
Yeah. So it was actually, I guess, a fluke. What happened was when I was looking for a property in Worcester. I wanted to tear this property down because it was completely burnt, and I knew I could put a triplex on it, and there was a dirt road on the side of that house. So when I ended up buying it with my cash, that property was $55,000, and I said, okay, you know what? I'm gonna go buy it cash. I don't really need to raise money for that from the banks. And when I bought it, I went to the building department, zoning department, all that, and started talking to them, and they said, hey, you can put 3 units here as long as you improve the road. That means I have to pave the road all the way back. That was a dirt road. So I said, okay, that's fair enough, as long as I can actually own that street, because at this point I'm actually improving the road for you guys that you should have done already. And they said, no, it's going to be still a road owned by us, but you'll have to pave it. So I'm like, all right, I'm stuck now. I already paid $55,000 for this, so I have to renovate. uh, Never
Frustrating.
knew what to do.
Yeah.
So started learning how to actually renovate, fire damaged properties. It's all, the right systems that you have to follow. So the first thing, or right steps that you have to follow. First thing, you have to talk to the building department, ask them what needs to be done. And then you go to the architect, you have to do a code review, and then get the architectural plan submitted, and then go hire contractors to do all this work. So it's really that's how I started. And a lot of people get scared of them because that property was on the market for almost 40, 50 days, which is unheard of
Yeah.
in Worcester, right? So then I'm like, all right, I think this is the right niche for me, because a lot of people are scared of these properties. And then one after another, I just started getting these fire damaged properties, and I kept buying them. And I love them, because the way I look at it is, you are gutting this property down to studs. Sometimes you're actually even framing them. So
Yeah.
you have pretty much a brand new property for, something that you picked up for such a cheap price because no one wanted these properties. And then you either, if you rent it out, you have a brand new property that you don't have to worry about maintenance for 5 to 7 years or 6 years. And, or if you're flipping it, it's again, new electrical, new plumbing, new heating, everything brand new. So I thought this was a very, very good niche to get into. Yep.
And what's nice, you're adding value to the marketplace, but you're doing something that nobody else wants to do, nobody else knows how to do. It's a little more complex, a little bigger barrier to entry, which gives you more of an opportunity to pick up those deals and have a really good system for it. So, Syed, we got a few minutes left. I want to find out what is your contact information. If somebody wants to learn more about burnt out houses, or more importantly, they want to invest with you because you obviously have a really good profit margin on the things that you're doing, they want to invest with you, or they're looking to do some of the labor for you, looking for some contractors who are
Yeah.
good, honest, moral, ethical. What is your easiest contact information to put out there?
Yeah. So it's my first name, last name. So Syed Khan, SYEDKHAN 0 at gmail.com. That's the best way to get in touch with me. And then I'll give my phone number too. It's 413-559-1555. I know you try to avoid that, but I'm okay with taking phone calls or texting. I'm not at your level yet, Walter. So I have time to talk to people, investors, and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so for everybody who's listening who's never heard me say it, if you ever join one of my programs or you're anywhere at my live events or any of my podcasts, I'm always saying, look, do not call me, text me. I'll give you my number. Like all my students have my number, but they text me. And for everybody else, like I'm very cautious about putting my number out there. But Syed, you know the deal. You can text me anytime, brother. You're
Yeah.
like family. So
But for the
uh,
people who are listening to this, you are very good at texting back, though. It's not like you ever forget to text back. So, you will get your question answered, or when you text, you'll get a text back from Walter.
yeah, and you can message me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I'm always available, like always responding. And Syed, you know the mission. I'm building 100 millionaires. You are one of the millionaires. You are somebody who's going to build other millionaires with us. So we appreciate you in everything that you do, the community as a whole. And me personally, just having you come on the podcast, I'm so proud of you, what you've accomplished. And your giving attitude. You're in a lot of our other calls, the wholesale mastermind. You're in the working with investors sometimes. You pop into Saturdays,
Yeah.
and you're just a positive influence in the community. So we appreciate that aspect of giving that you have and everything that you've done for us so far. This is just the beginning. Syed, if you go back to 20-year-old Syed, right? The guy who's flipping shoes, if you go
Yeah.
back to 20-year-old you before you got married, like that version of yourself, just ambitious, wanted to take on the world, but didn't know anything. What three pieces of advice would you give yourself that would get you here, happier, faster, and wealthier if you go back
I,
in time?
yeah. That's so I think what you have to remember is not everyone's gonna have Mark Zuckerberg's idea, right? So you're not gonna start with something huge. So the first thing that I would actually recommend is to start earning money. It doesn't matter what it is, and you might not really like what I'm saying, but if you have to get a job to start earning money, do that, and then take that money and invest in something on the side, and then let that grow. Because what happens is you don't want to be in a desperate situation where you have no money to survive. So that's why get a job, make money, and use that money to invest in a business, and then once that business grows, and then you can quit your job. So that's
Absolutely.
really what my first advice would be. And second thing would be to actually go in and start something. You don't have to worry about failing at this, right? Because you just keep trying and trying until you find something that's actually worth it. So I had to fail a couple of times to find what I was passionate about. And I'm not saying I'm super successful, but I have actually found what I want to do for the rest of my life. And it took me almost 5 years, 6 years to figure out what I wanted. So that's the second thing. And the third thing is that take care of your family. Take care of your family, respect your family, and because they will be there for you. And believe it or not, for past 4 years, I've never really raised money from outside my friends and family. So all the money that I've raised in the past 4 years, it's all been family and friends. I never had to go out because they trust you because of the person who you are and the relationship that you've built with them, throughout the years, they will actually invest with you. And I think those are the three things that I would actually advise to a 20-year-old Saeed.
I love that. Syed, phenomenal story. And when you and I sat down for your one-on-one strategy session for the mentorship program, what inspired me with you was that your why was your family. You wanted to give more to your parents. You wanted to give more to your family, your sister, your wife, your future kids. Like you were just looking to give to other people. And I remember the words that came out of my mouth. I was just like, yeah, I'm in. Like, absolutely. Like, I
Yeah.
love your why. I love why you're doing this. For me, when I sit in those one-on-one sessions, I'm deciding whether I want to partner with this person in the future. That's really why we do the mentorship in the first place, is long-term goals. Can
Right.
we build with somebody? And you had that ambition to help your family make it better living. For them, you wanted to bring your parents over here to America. And like,
Thank you,
I love
Paul.
what you're doing, man.
Thank you
Syed,
so much. I appreciate you. It is my honor. Thank you so much. Really
you
means a
are
lot.
an alchemist.
And I'm a proud alchemist.
And for anybody who's looking to join the mentorship program, or you're looking to join our mission of 100 millionaires, Alchemist Nation, you can get to walteramarello.com and you can join us for any of our free events. We do 5 to 7 free events every single week to teach you the different elements, ways you can become successful. It's all about giving. And if you do join the mentorship, look, there is one rule. You do have to eventually give. Once you've learned it, you got to pay it forward at some point, like Syed's doing right now. Syed,
Absolutely.
I appreciate you so much. Make sure you spend some time with your wife today. Make sure you spend some time with your sister,
Yeah,
your brother. Tell them we said hi, and
will
cheers to your
do.
success, brother. When you have a
Thank you so
choice,
much, Walter. Thank you. Nice seeing you. Work with the best.
always work with the best. Good seeing you too,
10x.
brother. 10X.
Have a good one, brother.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Awesome job.